Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hey, we're going to do a little PVC project in the shop tonight. It's been a long time since we've worked on this guy. We're going to go back and make a modification to the original redneck beer holder. I think we can make some improvements on it. I've been having some issues and I want to make a better version. So I hope you'll stick around with me. So guys, what we got here with the original is I had originally started this. This was just a two banger here, and I was using this 3-inch PVC, and this basically served as my drink holder here. And then later on, I discovered that that doesn't work too well. Let me show you why. Basically, if you just have a soda can or a beer can with just a regular koozie in it, that's fine. It fits in there, no problem. Okay, so then you'd be out there, you might be playing a game in the lake, you got your buddy next to you, you both want a place for your beers, and that was no issue. But these days, who uses these foam koozies anymore? We're all styling it, and we got the Brewmates or the Yetis or some other kind of big can cooler. And I like these better because obviously they don't get all wet, and then the regular koozie doesn't really work anymore. But you go to put those kind of koozies in, and they don't fit, okay? So that's where I had gone back and made a modification of my original one and just added a piece of 4-inch PVC to this, which this is a little bit flimsier design, but it did the job. That fits in there just fine. But then when you're playing doubles, you don't have a place for your buddy to put his beer. So I thought I'm gonna completely redo this tonight, and I got a new solution for the cup holder, and I'm gonna do basically two that are big enough to hold these the koozies. You can also take like one of these little wine glasses, that'll fit in there. Overall, I think it'll just be a little bit better design. So this is what I'm gonna use this time. On Amazon, I came up with this type of solution. I was looking at Lowe's, I was gonna do other PVC and different things like that, and couldn't find just the right 3.5-inch size, and that's really what I wanted. And PVC has just gotten so ridiculously expensive, and a lot of times just to buy a 5-foot piece or even a 10-foot piece is just out of control. So I'm like, hey, this might be a nicer solution. So these are actually like a poker table insert. If you were to use that and drop it into your poker table for a drink, but that holds this just nicely. So I think that's what we're gonna go with. And this actually has a 3.5-inch ID to it. So I'll go ahead and place a link to these in the description as well as the other parts I use in this video, but let's get after it. So here was my original pole. This is actually 44 inches here, and then I had the auger in it. I've since modified my sand anchor designs over time too, and this was one of my old original sand anchor sets that I had, that I originally had a piece of galvanized going through for the handle. So this was tight inside here. I actually just bored this out with the hole saw the other day because I'm going to reuse these longer ones. These longer ones are actually 60 inches, and I'm going to use these as my new setup for my beer holder 2.0. So I'm going to reuse my handle from my shorter one, and I've just made that so it, like I said, I bored that out so it fits through there. Nowadays, you wouldn't have to have this coupler in here. When I made my first version, I actually put a coupler in there because I thought I'd need a little bit more strength. And then I ran this galvanized through it. But since then, on all the other sand anchors I've made, I've just switched to using this PVC handle. This is 12 inches of 1.25 inches. And I'll also post a link to that build at the end of this one. You'll be able to see how I make my sand anchors. But since I'm reusing this one, like I said, I had to bore that out bigger to accommodate this guy. And the reason I wanted to switch to these PVC handles like this is I have this so it's convertible, so it comes in and out. With this, you always had this piece fixed in there, and it would float around back and forth, and it just makes it harder to get it in and out of the stowage area. So I've since done away with the galvanized and just go with the straight PVC. Okay guys, so with that said, I'm going to reuse these old ones here. I've already taken the anchor out of it just because I cleaned everything up. I got the old Playstar dock augers over here that I've been using for all these. So These have held up well over the years, so I'm going to reuse that. So when that's all said and done, I'll reattach my auger here like I originally had it. I just thought I'd take it out right now so we didn't have the weight and this thing banging around while I'm putting on the new cup holders. We'll use our existing guy through here, okay? And then my thought is I want to find a way, I think I'm going to use stainless steel screws, and I just want to make this so I have one of these sitting on each side, okay? I don't know if I mentioned this, but one of the reasons I want to reuse these is because I want to get a little taller height too. This may be a little taller than what I need, but I've also found my previous one that was like 44 inches would sometimes be a little bit too low. If you get just the right amount of weight coming in or something, you can kind of swamp your drink. So we're going to go a little higher with this one. So this one's going to be 60 inches when we're all said and done, 66 inches by the time you add the auger to it. So I think this is how I'm going to go about attaching these. I found some small stainless steel screws. So I think the best way to go is to, put a hole here and put a hole towards the bottom and then just sink it in there. I think that's going to hold it tight enough. And then I'll do one on the opposite side. The tricky part is you got to be able to get this screwed in here and be able to screw it in at the same time. Luckily, I have one of these long bits. I have a little set of these long bits. So I think what I'm going to do is make a pilot hole all the way through. And then that will enable me to stick my screwdriver in through the pilot hole and then tighten up my screw on both the top and the bottom. So I think that's going to work. It could be a complete fail, but as with most of my projects, we'll find out together. All right, so I just took my red marker and I just eyeballed where I think I want my first two holes to go. All right, so I just put it in the vise with a little rag to keep it from getting all marred up, and I'm just going to start a little pilot hole here. So let me take my punch to get this started. Now I'm going to switch over to my longy drill bit to check this out, see if it works. Now what somebody smart would probably do is, it'd be nice if you had a little stainless steel bolt, and then you could just run your bolt through here or run your bolt through your PVC or run your bolt through here and just clamp it with the two sides. But my fear is that that head or that nut is going to just take up too much space inside this 3.5 inch ID. Now if you had a 4-inch ID, that'd probably be all right, but I'm going to continue to go with my original plan. We'll see how it works. Broke my bit, or I made it all the way through? I think I might have broke my bit. What say you? Yes, I broke my bit. That was a failure. Okay, I'm temporarily rethinking my original plan. I'm going to see if there is any possible way for me to get this screwed in so I don't have to go through both sides. But I just put this up here with my holes. I made my marks. I'm going to go ahead and drill some holes here in the top of the PVC. So guys, I didn't think this would fit. This still might be a challenge, but with the screw fully in the hole, I'm still able to get my stubby screwdriver in there. So we'll see if we can get by with just doing it this way. it's going to be tricky. All right, here goes nothing. I'll start with the easy one. Might as well use a real screwdriver for this one. All right, I got it 7/8 tight. Go a little bit more and then we'll start the other one. Okay, I didn't think that through very well. Remember how I said, oh yeah, I'll just have these both sitting in here and then I'll be able to get my screwdriver in and screw it in. Well, that doesn't work too well because I can't really get my screw started that way because my PVC hole's a little bit smaller, so the screw actually bites into it. However, I just got this top one in and I got it fairly tight. And I think since I still just have this lip here, I think that's going to be more than sufficient. We're just holding a, 12 or 16 ounce can here. So let's see what that feels like. So I might just be able to get by with one hole for this redneck setup. So that's what I'm looking at. Okay, I got the lip here. So I mean, it's wobbly, but is it really going to be going anywhere? It's not going to flip over. So I think that'll hold it just fine. All right, let's check this out. It's only right that we get a beer can. Okay, Coors Light. I mean, I think that's going to be fine for what we're doing. Let's mount up another one. So we just drilled another hole here. And I don't think my screws are long enough that they'll hit each other, maybe, but I'll just go a little off center to that other one. Okay, so the way I'm doing this is I'm just making sure that this hole, that the screw goes in easily. And then we got a smaller one on the PVC there. And make sure we get this lip up over the top. Line up our hole and get her started. There's the idea. We got a 2-pack. So a little wobble, but that lip's going to keep it locked in so it doesn't flip over. All right, number 2. Redneck Yacht Club. All right. What do you think? Like I said, we got a little wobble, but it's locked in. And this has got extra character because it's my old anchor that's already beat up on the top. All right, guys, let's get these augers on. I just put this one back on. I'll encourage you, if you guys are doing this from scratch, watch my other video that I put the link to at the end of this. A little tip when you're doing these augers, sometimes depending on the PVC, and there's a little bit of variation if you get something a little different. Sometimes I've had it where you can see right now that fits a little bit loose in there and it tightens up when I put the bolt through it. Some of them, these are just depending on the diameter here. I've had them anywhere from 1 7/8 to 1.5 inches. Sometimes you got to heat this up with a heat gun to make it fit right, and then it'll slide right on there. But one of the keys when you're putting these in is first you're going to want to measure your distance to get your first hole. But don't try to make both holes then. Just get your first hole, get your hole started, and then use this hole here as the pilot to make sure that you're lined up all the way through. These might not be the exact ones they were in before, so they could be a little off. Plus I have 4 augers here from my 2 anchors, so I'm not sure if these are the exact same ones that came out of it. They should be close enough here that they'll line up now. There we go. See, that's what I say. If you use that galvanized anchor as your pilot hole, you'll always have a perfect lineup. These are typically 9/16. All right, guys, so there you have it. Redneck Beer Holder 2.0. They seem awful tall right now, but once we get them sunk in the sand, they'll probably be just the right height. If it's a little long, we can always just cut some off the bottom and reseat the auger at a different spot. So this part here, you probably wondered what the heck this is on here for. It serves two purposes. The main one was just to keep the handle from falling back through so it can be stored there. But the main reason I have this trailer safety pin here is because I actually have a beer pong game that's floating, and basically you can leave your handle hanging there and you just hook that through the beer pong game. It's got like 2 little anchors on each end, and these go perfectly through there just to kind of keep your game right where you're there floating. So you got your drink handy, and then your game's floating right under you.
Hey guys, Tennessee Yankee. Thanks for watching. If you found this content helpful, go ahead and hit that subscribe button on your right. I have other content linked for you on the left side. Otherwise, we'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching.